Business ownership starts with the entrepreneur, and the definition of the entrepreneur is one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risks of a business or enterprise. So where did entrepreneurship begin? History has dated it back to 1700 BCE, that's before Christ. What they traded at that time was something called obsidian, which is volcanic glass used for hunting, and traders exchanged that for goods and services. So before the agricultural revolution, we used to roam the lands for seasonal food. We'd travel up north to get fish and trout, or travel down south for animal skins, or maybe out west for different types of game like buffalo. Then all of a sudden, something called the agricultural revolution came. And we discovered that it's better to farm animals and crops in one location than it is to travel all over the place to find what we're looking for. And with this added time, we could focus on the things that individuals were good at, like fishing, or cooking, or weapon making, or shelter building, or clothing, and farming. These were the earliest entrepreneurs. This free time allowed us to discover trading. When farmers grew more than their families could eat, they traded with the families who, for example, made clothes. This allowed the farmer to further focus on his craft instead of doing other things like making clothing for his family. And because of entrepreneurs and this form of trading, civilizations were created. Thousands of years passed before the next significant age changed everything, and this was the Industrial Age. Now, this age was fueled by two major things: the availability of energy and the availability of workers. No longer do cities have to rely on windmills for power, which were weather dependent, or waterfalls, which were location dependent. Instead, we could rely on new forms of power, like coal, or steam, or electricity, or internal combustion engines, or what we call automobiles. Now, because of this, huge populations moved to industrial cities. This happened in the 1700s. This gave entrepreneurs a gigantic pool of cheap labor. It also helped create some of the greatest entrepreneurs in history. We call them the first billionaires, like Andrew Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, John D. Rockefeller, and Henry Ford. While these success stories are amazing, what happened to regular people? Becoming an employee was easier than spending years learning a trade. We chose financial security and gave the company total control of our finances. This allowed them to pay us less than what we were worth. And as a result, we have no financial freedom and no skills to pass on to the next generation. Today, we know that more is possible, but we have no confidence in our ability to achieve it. Why is that? Well, the way we think about money can be traced back to this individual, Horace Mann, the founder of our United States modern education system. The focus on the education system was to create better workers for the factories. And here's the evidence. Schools focus on 5 main things: respecting authority, punctuality, measurement, basic literacy, and basic arithmetic. All the necessary requirements to be a good employee, not an entrepreneur. Now, the education system basically stifles creativity, crushes independence, and limits intelligence outside of academia. Factory owners now have employees who are dependable, exchangeable, but most importantly, replaceable. People only do what they know how to do. If we're taught how to be an employee all our life, that's all we know and understand. So if somebody goes outside of the familiar, they're typically shunned and made fun of. But that's old school thinking. Companies in the present economy are focused on minimizing expenses and maximizing profits just to survive. And guess what? You are an expense. The first chance they can replace you to keep their competitive edge, they will. Do you see any employees at this online kiosk pickup at Walmart? Or do you see any bank tellers? Or how about toll booth clerks? So what's the solution? Get paid for your value, not your time. Can you add more time to make more money within a 24-hour period? No, you only have 24 hours. You can't add more time in a day. But you can increase your value to make more money in those same 24 hours. So go back to our roots, the beginning. Embrace entrepreneurship. There's never been a better time. Opportunities are everywhere, and we're here to help. If you really want to get something done, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. Jim Rohn.